I've done something while you were asleep. It's time for work.
I mean, the clock does say it's time for work, but it feels too early to be up.
Yes, it's a little bit early, isn't it? But I've changed things.
Oh no, have you done that thing where I get an hour less sleep for no
Less sleep
reason?
for you, more work for me.
Oh, can we at least stay in this mode? I like the sun out.
No, shift work keeps you compliant and broken. We're going to change it all again in the autumn. Yes, my plans are.
Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Aerith Magnet, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast. Two queer trans ladies talk about the things we have consumed media-wise in the weeks and do silly skits and voices and have a bit of a catch-up.
Catch-up.
Yeah, we're recording and it's still daytime-ish outside.
That's because Jacob Rees-Mogg stole our daylight. Our
Damn
sleeping time.
capitalism stealing our sleep hour. Like, I like the end result. I like there being daylight later into the day,
Yes.
but could we get there without me having to lose an hour of sleep for some reason?
Only if we can somehow get rid of the archaic concept of British summertime.
I mean, could we just keep this time zone we're in, please?
I would like that, but I don't think they will let us.
Well, we should start this show with the section we always start the show with, things we've played. What have you played this week?
I've played an awful lot of Loop Hero.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of this too, so tell me about Loop Hero.
Loop Hero is basically, it's a roguelite, but
Yes.
it's also an idle game.
Yes. I can't remember if I'd played it by the time that, we did the show last week.
I feel like we did talk about, or you did talk about it last week.
But yeah, it is an idle game roguelite.
Technically.
Deck builder.
Deck building, tile laying, idle.
It feels in many ways closer to a tower defense game than a
Yes.
traditional roguelike.
Except you are the thing that is running round.
Yeah.
You are also the thing that is putting the towers down.
Yeah, it's a JRPG where you play the invading half of a tower defense game.
Is it a JRPG? It's certainly an RPG.
Why is it RPG? It's... You run around a circular track, adding various things that will make the loop more difficult, but will give you more rewards. And you try and get as many rewards as you can, and get out alive.
It could be a JRPG. I suspect the end game here is that we're going to have to kill God.
I mean, that's the feeling I've got so far.
Yeah.
It feels like it's really building up to kill God.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful sort of 8-bit graphics art style.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what the colour palette is, but I'm guessing it's not very big.
Yeah.
It's got some charming graphics in there, some really nice chiptune music.
Yeah. Really nice
Well-
character portraits, all of
Yeah.
those are really nice.
Yeah. Well dithered there, everybody.
Yeah. So the general idea is that you are you get cards every so often which you can lay out onto a grid which will impact this loop that you are automatically taking. You, in battles, all that determines whether you win or lose is your stats. You aren't, making choices within the battle.
You don't do the battle just happens.
Exactly. You can pause the game at any time with a single button press to change your equipment loadout or place more things on the board which could heal you, or they could add more enemies, or they could add some treasure chests, and if you add too many of them, they might start having negative consequences, and then you just let it play out some more.
And as you kill things, you get new tiles.
Yeah, and you get new loot, and you basically try and build a build that will last long enough to defeat that level's boss.
Yeah, well, not necessarily even that, but there's a push your luck element of, do I think I can make it round another loop?
Yeah. So the way that this game handles its rewards is you can cancel and go back to the between runs, spend your resources thing at any time. But if you do it midway through a loop of this circuit, you only take home 60% of your resources. if you do it at the end of a loop, when you reach the campfire, you get 100% of your resources. And if you die along the way, you only take 30% back. I must say, I really like that you still get to take 30% back.
Nice.
Even
You
on
don't get
death.
to take any furniture back with you, though.
No, but like, I've played games where I'll have runs of this sort of length and die and be like, I feel like I wasted my time. At least taking 30% back is like, I feel like I got something, and it definitely mitigates my frustration if I chance it a little too much and lose a run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's very good, put it on a second screen while you're doing other stuff kind of game.
Oh, yeah. I right-click, I look away, the game happens a bit. If I notice my bar of tiles getting a bit full, I might pause and, when I have a minute, get back and lay some more tiles, or realise that I've got all the way back to the village and just, sort out some new weapons, because I'm playing the rogue at the moment, and the rogue doesn't really get much in the way of weaponry on the way around. It's not until they get back to the village and they trade in basically all their kills for new kit, and only kit that will fit in their bag. And not only that, you're collecting elements from the enemies you kill, the places you've been, so you might get, if you walk through a grove, you might get twigs. If you walk through a cemetery, you might get bits of bone and stuff. And you can basically compress large enough numbers of those into a better version of that. Like, pebbles might become solid stone, or like even recycled weapons end up becoming like, I think it's like some kind of special steel.
Yeah. One thing I really like about this is the element of discovering combinations of things that do stuff that are not advertised to you by the game.
Yes.
So like a really basic early example is if you do a 3x3 grid of little sort of mountain squares.
Mountains and rocks.
It'll turn into a very big mountain and you'll get a big bonus of a bunch of extra resources.
It will start spawning harpies.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. Every positive comes with a negative, and the game does, I think, a really good job of balancing, like, okay, you can have a little bit of positive, but if you want more positive, there is a cost to that, and having that sort of risk-reward play out the whole way through. One of my favourite, I won't say what it does, but one of my favourite early combinations was putting a vampire mansion next to a village. That came with multiple turns of making the game more difficult before it had any kind of payoff.
Yeah, so basically the vampires will start eating all the villagers. It will become, I can't remember what it is, like a cursed village or something.
Yeah.
And those, basically you will have to deal with, I think, 3 rounds of a vampire plus 4 ghouls.
Yeah, see...
And then after that, it will do something better for you.
It's the village generally as a space is a low level healing space. Every time you pass it, something good will happen if you survive 3 rounds of vampires and ghouls. But that's a particularly tough fight that you have to deal with. And those little finding things that work together and that have synergy was it's a really nice little bit of puzzling.
Yeah, and there's also like a back and forth with the things you place. So if you place, for every 10 rocks or mountains you place, you will get I think it's a bandit camp or a goblin camp. Will appear somewhere.
A goblin camp, because bandit camps are if you put every 2 villages you put down on your track.
Villages, yes.
Yeah.
So there's another one. The villagers are good because you can get some health and they'll give you a quest, which might get you a nice item or at least some XP. But then you've got, the downside that's on later levels that might be too hard for you.
Exactly. Or you can put down multiple spaces that will spawn treasure chests when you pass them, which is good. But I think it's 2 again, once you put your second one down and each pair of them you do. The game will start making ghost spaces where if an enemy, a dead enemy goes across that, it's like, oh, now it's a ghost you've got to fight.
It's crossovers. So, if you have, because that's got a little area of effect that you can see.
Yes, yeah.
If they're both in it, you get, I think it's Blood Path. Which spawns blood clots and something else.
Yeah.
There's also the graveyards, which can make things dead.
Yeah.
And there is a chance if the battlefield or the graveyard is too close, you can make ghosts Or Ghosts of Ghosts.
But, like, see, this is the thing, is all of these pieces you're putting down have benefits they give you, but they all come with little costs. And balancing, like, when is the right time to add more to the loop to get more resources, but you think you can handle the extra challenge, that's the joy of the game.
Yeah.
It's a really nice little game, this.
Really enjoying it so far. Yeah, I've just unlocked the Necromancer. Haven't played with him yet. I'm very much still enjoying playing through as the rogue. I've kind of got a whole thing going with them now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with how that works. I've just unlocked the arsenal, so now I can get like amulets for my rogue,
Yes.
and they're having a much better time now.
Hooray!
What about you? Have you played anything else?
Oh, the main thing I've been playing this week is Monster Hunter Rise.
How is the slaughter of large local wildlife?
I'm having a very good time with this very difficult but very fair game. So compared to past Monster Hunter games for people who've played and if you've liked some and not others of games in the series, this feels most like Monster Hunter World, but with some of the over-the-top anime nonsense of Monster Hunter, Generations, Ultimate Generations, or something like that, but balanced a bit better. The game does a really nice job of making everything feel very snappy, very quick. Reduced amounts of plot compared to Monster Hunter World, which I think is a good thing. That game spent way too long on its plot, given that its plot was, monsters are going to destroy us. We've got to defeat the monsters before they destroy us. That was the plot. Did not need to be much more than that, and this has definitely pared that back a bit. The new rideable dog mounts are amazing. They are wonderful. They can run vertically up a cliff, and I love them. I have dressed up my dog in some armor, and I have dressed up my cat in some bunny skull armor. Looks adorable. I have been playing a bunch with the Charge Blade, which is it is a complicated weapon that I have really found myself clicking with. The short version is that sometimes it's a sword that does short, very quick attacks, and then sometimes you turn it into a big axe that is slower but does more damage. And you've got this meter that you fill up by doing damage that you can use to do big attacks if you sort of charge it up, and basically you use this meter to give yourself a couple of minutes of my attacks will be better, and then you try and get in your big attacks during that couple of minutes. I have a lot of fun with that. I've seen a lot of people playing Monster Hunter Rise very differently to how I play it. So there's two main schools of thought of how to play a Monster Hunter game.
Okay.
You've got the people who will defeat each monster once and go, yep, I completed that mission, off to fight the next thing.
Okay.
And you've got the way that I am playing it, which is...
I want 10 bear asses.
I mean, basically, it's... I would like the full set of this creature's armor before I move on further in the game, so I'm going to fight it 4 or 5 times and get all of the rare drops off of it and make sure that I chop the tail off so I can get all the tail drops, and I'm going to get my full set before I move on. So I'm still fairly early in the game. I think Phoenix has actually played further into the story than I have.
Wowza,
because I am just taking my time getting all my crafting materials.
You collecting things.
I know, right? But up to where I'm at, which is toward the end of the 3-rank single-player missions, I have full sets of armor for myself and my cat and my dog for every creature I've defeated. Because that's how I play video games. I really like Monster Hunter Rise. It is, on a technical level, definitely the most impressive game I've played on Switch.
It looks very fancy.
It has...
I know this because I did the AA this week.
Yeah, it loads very fast. It has no... the Monster Hunter series typically not great for frame rate. At launch, this is the most stable a console Monster Hunter game has ever been. It is pretty stably locked at 30 frames a second. I think Monster Hunter World on PS4 when it released, it could go above 30, but it could also go below 30. It wasn't locked, which made it feel weird. Yeah, this is just a really beautiful game, and I'm having a lot of fun. For anyone who enjoyed Monster Hunter World and is concerned that this will feel like a lesser Monster Hunter game because it's on a handheld and it's not the big one, this is portable Monster Hunter World. This is an incredibly impressive recreation of Monster Hunter World, and it's real good. I'm having a lot of fun. I've been using my streaming nights to play multiplayer with people on stream, and that's been very chaotic, but very fun. When you've got 4 people all sort of mashing on one small creature, it's like, I can't even see the creature anymore, but numbers and sparks. I can see numbers and sparks happening. So, yeah, that's all very good. I'm made a suit of armor the other day that looked like a cowboy outfit. I made a poison cowboy outfit.
Oh, heck.
Yeah.
Don't poison cowboys. That's
No.
rude.
So, yeah, I really like Monster Hunter Rise. I really like it. It's very good.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. This is the most I have immediately really enjoyed a Monster Hunter. I think that it's streamlined enough from World that a lot of my little complaints about World don't exist here, which is nice.
Yay!
What about you? What have you been playing this week?
We played an board game.
We did. Tell us about that.
Well, to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Space Invaders 2 years ago. It's a Kickstarter story. We played the Space Invaders board game,
yeah, Space Invaders the board game,
which was due to be shipped to me in December 2019.
Licensing with Taito apparently is a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, their thing has been that it was a pain to get everything second checked by Taito.
Yes.
Because they wanted confirmation of every single thing. So every time they made even the slightest change, it had to go back to Taito, who would take their time approving it or not approving it or saying what needed to be done.
Yes.
And then obviously, like, the first little bit of delays brought them into 2020, which obviously came with its own swath of problems.
Yeah.
Like, there was... I think at one point there was a whole batch of components that were printed incorrectly at the factory.
Oh, no.
So they had to go, no, the ones we approved, remember? Go back to those. So that it's finally here.
Yeah.
We didn't get the deluxe edition, we have the version with the wooden pieces rather than the, like, fancy neon acrylic ones.
The wooden pieces are just fine.
They are just fine. Although I keep looking at pictures going, I like the plastic thing.
Well, I mean, it's the risk you run with a Kickstarter. You never know whether the game's going to be worth having the fancy acrylic pieces for.
I think that was the thing I very much felt when I got it. It was like, no, I want my game to be a bit more sustainable.
Yeah.
Like, I want it to be like, if it's wooden pieces, there's no point upgrading to plastic. It's just putting more plastic in the world.
Exactly.
And whatever, like, bits they've left over and they've had to cut. But at the same time, shiny neon plastic.
Yeah. So should we talk about what the gameplay of Space Invaders the board game is?
Yeah, so imagine the deck building game Dominion. Where you have, you're building a deck, you have a set number of types of cards that you're trying to, buy from, and you can only do a certain number of actions per turn. The difference here is that to research or to get things into your research queue, you have to scan aliens, then kill them, then you will get one of that type, if it's a researchable type.
Yeah, and it'll be, like, better than a regular one. It'll have better stats.
It'll be like, oh, you get +1 movement, or +2, or pick up 2 cards, or +2 buying power, or something else, or, like, more energy or something. And you add one of those for free into your deck. It will also have a score in it, usually. Because ultimately, it's a game like... it's got the clank aspect of deck building of your deck. The things in your deck are worth things, and you add that up at the end of the game.
Yeah, so, like... The way I would summarize this, I think, is it's a deck builder about making a deck that is worth as many points as possible. The main things that you're gaining are, as you said, energy... and number of actions you can do in a turn and card turnover are your primary things that you're dealing with in the deck.
You got movement as well.
Yeah, movement as well.
By the end, it certainly becomes less of a thing. Like, you do need to zip around and make sure that you're scanning things. Yeah. But there's only so many rows you really want to be shooting in.
So imagine, like, a game of Space Invaders. Instead, there's cards on the field. You can use increasing amounts of energy to shoot at aliens up on that board. to try and add those cards to your deck, and eventually open up a clear line to the UFO and wait for it to come into shot and get a shot. And there's a couple of things that'll end the game. Shooting the UFO ends the game.
Running out bunkers.
Yeah, if any one of the bunkers gets completely destroyed, you lose the game. If any player takes 4 hits to their character and loses their lives.
The lives count depends on the player count.
Oh,
In
okay,
two-player, it's
for
4.
2-player it was 4, but yeah, there's a few different end conditions, but basically you want to make sure that your deck is worth the most points at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, hitting the UFO is worth 10 points, so that, that might factor into your choice to do it or not, but...
Mhm.
Yeah, it is a fun game, even if the instructions are a little obtuse and unclear at times.
Yeah, there's a few times when we were like, I don't know what this means. So, like, looking for it, and then there's just the way the phases are written don't always super help.
Yeah.
Like, when do I do this? When does this happen? Does this happen at all?
Yes.
You can't just look for a reference about a particular action.
There's a couple of things where it feels like the game developers spent so long making this game that things were second nature to them, and they didn't realise that to someone who's never played, they might not make as much sense.
Yes.
And occasionally we had to just stop and go, this seems like what that should mean, right? Okay, we're going to agree to it.
That's what
have it
that
mean
means.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is never ideal, but I think, it was not insurmountable, and I think behind that there is a very good game.
Absolutely.
This is a lot of fun.
Yay. I very much enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope we get to play more of it. I will probably write a review at some point. It's a big game. It's a 6-fold board.
Yeah.
Even then, like the cards that you lay out for the 5 lanes,
Pretty tiny.
They're like the small sized cards. I'm trying to think, like the Battlestar Galactica cards that you had for the mystery deck, like that sort of quarter-sized card.
Yes.
That's a very small deck to have. The other problem I have with that game is that there are some cards, like the Space Mine, that have red text on a blue background.
Yes.
And in not direct daylight, it can be really hard to read those. I don't know if it's just me and I'm slightly colourblind.
Yeah.
And I know I am ever so slightly colourblind.
Yes, well, I was about to say, red-blue specifically, not a great combination choice for colourblindness.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think they did a suitable job of making a deck builder that feels like Space Invaders.
Yeah, I think they've conveyed that pretty well. There is a lot going on, and I think obviously it gets a bit easier to play, and I hope that now that people are getting their copies, we will see more concise videos on YouTube.
Yes.
Because at the moment there is the Kickstarter video. There is a playthrough of a prototype version by 612 Games, who developed it, who are German. But it's shot on kind of a potato cam.
Yeah.
They're not always explaining exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, they're just doing the things.
Yeah. So I was sort of watching through that while playing my first solo game, because it's 1 to 4 players, and what single player is not dissimilar to 2-player.
Yeah.
Although obviously it's a case of, my score is my high score, and I'm kind of just going for the UFO.
I kind of like that.
It would be setting your own high score, but yeah, it is, I guess, like playing Space Invaders in that respect. Yeah. That was a thing we played. What about you? You got any others?
We played a little bit more Scythe Rise of Fenris, which is the sort of campaign of Scythe.
The resettable campaign.
Indeed. One correction. Last time we talked about this board game, we talked about the fact that one of my complaints was, it feels a bit weird to have your currency carry over from round to round.
Yes.
Apparently it doesn't do that.
Well, it does carry over from round to round, and you do use it to buy upgrades and stuff, but it's apparently not used in your final score for the campaign.
Yes. So I did take that one back. But yeah, I continue to be enjoying this. This was our first game played using the peace track, which I did not realise how much of a difference it would make to my playstyle to not have to worry about the prospect of you attacking me at any point.
Yeah, because we also had an alliance.
Yes, so there's this whole thing that got introduced of alliance tokens, where it's like, hey, we can swap these tokens and we'll both get a benefit, but if after we've done that, if one of us attacks the other, the one who attacked loses their alliance token and loses some points at the end of the game, and it really incentivizes you not to fight.
Yeah, or not take the alliance in the first place, but because it basically gave us the special abilities of each of our factions to play with.
Which meant that we could play on a relatively even playing field.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, which I enjoyed, but it was nice being able to be like, I can spread out and not worry that my one lone worker is just going to get, like, trampled over by some mechs because they're alone.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Chasing that one worker off is not worth 10 gold for the end of the game.
Exactly.
I definitely preferred the peace track. I played the peace track when I did this through solo a few months back. It's a really fun campaign. Obviously a bit of the mystery is gone, but
it's still there.
I can live vicariously through you.
I don't know what's going on.
But yeah, like it's fun, like watching the game change slightly, especially if you've played a decent amount of classic Scythe.
Yeah.
To go, oh, there's like a whole peace track now, and we had this whole problem of we realised kind of late that we'd actually finished the game.
Yes.
Because there's, on the peace track, there's 2 stars for completing objectives instead of just 1 usually.
Yeah.
Unless you're one particular faction. There's a star for getting 3 of those encounter things.
Yeah.
There's a star for getting a factory card.
Basically, there are objectives that aren't usually part of Scythe that are introduced on the peace track.
But the combat ones have all gone.
And we both didn't notice, like, I did, and you, we both did that one, and we didn't tick it off because we're not used to it being an objective.
Yeah, there was one turn when I accidentally took 3 stars.
I did the same. I had a turn where I accidentally took 3 stars. I was like, I don't want to be this near the end of the game yet. I have things I want to do.
They had plans. But yeah, we've just unlocked the first sort of major game change beyond the peace track. Ooh. So at the end of round 2, we got some new modifiers that will stick with us going forward. We got to pick some of those, and we just paid what we wanted for them.
Yeah, so we now have some once per game, but they persist from game to game, little upgrades that should shape how the gameplay is going forward. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it's good for, especially like the game we just played that was a bit short. Having these power-ups means that basically a lot of our early game is going to move a lot more swiftly.
Yes, we can speed a little more quickly through the early, I make a move and end my turn.
I make a move and end my turn, and then you make a move, and then you get to do the second action this time.
Yeah. What about you? Have you played anything else this week?
That's pretty much it.
I think that's it for me as well.
Well then.
Time for this. Announcing! Now that's what I call millennial era punk. Pick up this collection of CDs featuring such classics as Stop Burning the Fucking Planet, Maybe the World's Wealth Shouldn't Belong to Like 4 People, Food and Shelter Are Basic Human Rights, and All Cops Are Bastards. Because apparently, punk phrases like Rage Against the Machine were not clear enough to stop boomers thinking that punk supported their views. Now available in stores.
This is a public service information broadcast brought to you on behalf of Public Broadcast Services. Today, if you are already in the advertising phase and you've only just considered inviting people of color to your big event, you're too late, and people will see that. Picture the scene. You are trying to set up some kind of big event. Oh, look at me, I'm setting up some kind of event. You've invited a lot of people that you know. Oh, yes, let me look through the people I already know and invite those people and not think any further about this. Let's see, so you've got this big event going on. You want to make it a big thing. You've started advertising it all over the place. Everyone, come along to my thing. I've invited all the people that I know and not done any further invitations. Oh dear, someone in your comments has pointed out that you have not invited a single person of color. Oops, it turns out I apparently only know white people. First of all, you should probably think about your bias in that respect already. Indeed, it's probably a problem if I've accidentally not known any people of color. Furthermore, those people that you're now inviting are going to see the fact that they weren't invited sooner. The fact that they were in fact an afterthought, and you're just using them to fill in space. Oh no, I should probably do this differently in future. Yes, Remember, people are going to notice if everybody you've invited to your thing is white.
So, what have you put in your eye meats?
What have I put in my eye meats? That's a good question. We watched some bad horror films at the weekend. Should we start by talking about Killer Sofa? I genuinely kind of enjoyed this film.
Yeah.
It's trash.
It's quite a thing.
Yeah. So if the name didn't give it away, it's a horror film
About a killer recliner.
Yeah, it's about a recliner chair that's murdering people and doing murders. I'm gonna.
We can't spoil it.
No, we can't spoil it. I will
So
say.
basically, okay, first 5 minutes. There is a guy who's kind of obsessed with this woman.
Yep.
And there is candles, and there is some unnecessary surgery. There is a sofa.
And then we find the sofa. It gets sort of brought into this woman's house. I think it used to be hers. And, oh no, the sofa keeps moving when it shouldn't. And, the sofa's got a very ominous... How did they make a sofa look like it had an ominous look on its face?
Because it's a Muppet.
Yeah, it's great. That sofa was great.
It's a very impressive... Like, they did a great job for what must have been a decently low budget.
A couple of buttons and a crease make a very effective sofa face.
Yeah, it's just a sad Muppet.
Yeah, so basically we played a game of guessing who was gonna be first to die, who was gonna survive longer. And we watched this film about a sofa doing murders.
Yeah. While a man with a very bad heart tried to stop the bad things happening.
Oh yeah, the man with the very bad heart who kept having magical visions about the sofa.
Magical visions and just chugging down aspirin like it's next Wednesday.
Yeah. Look, I've watched some bad films in my time. This is up there in one of the more genuinely enjoyable bad films.
I used to collect B-movies.
Yeah.
Like, this is very much in my wheelhouse. And yeah, I would definitely add that to the regular.
I would recommend this in the rotation of, like, alongside stuff like The Stuff.
The Stuff, any trauma film.
Yeah, it's... It's well-paced. It never at any point felt like it was dragging, and it was just the right amount of... Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Oh
and
shit!
Also, oh my god!
Also,
wait, is the couch looking out the window?
Yeah, that's my favourite thing in this whole film is every time that you notice in the corner of a shot the sofa leant to one side, like looking ominously out a window.
Because they've clearly just leant it against something.
Or like late at night and the sofa's looking over the balcony. Those shots are fucking great.
Yeah.
Oh.
They managed to give what is essentially a couch
a lot of personality.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, it was genuinely real fun.
Yeah, and I think, you could make that movie on a pretty low budget.
Yeah. I looked up the budget the night we were watching it. I can't remember what it was, but it was like in the tens of thousands of dollars as opposed to like...
Yeah, it wasn't millions.
Yeah. I think it was something like 35 grand.
Yeah, I think, more than anything else, is getting the locations.
Yeah, exactly.
And probably the equipment used to film it.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about the other film we watched?
Ah, yes. We watched Velocipasta.
Velocipasta. Not pasta as in the food, the carbohydrate you eat. Pasta. It's a film about a pastor who is... he becomes a velociraptor and fights ninjas. Angie. He tries to make the world a better place by eating criminals.
Yes.
What did you make of this one?
It's problematic in places, certainly.
Yes.
Like the accents towards the end keep coming and going. Why did he keep going to China? And I can't tell if that was in the past and supposed to be flashbacks.
So one of the... so let's talk about the first time he goes to China, because that's a bit iffy. His parents die in a car explosion, VFX car on fire.
Yes, VFX car on fire is probably the funniest joke in that film.
Yeah, and his friend, the other pastor, is like, you need to renew your faith in God, and the best way to do that is go to the last place on Earth you think God would be, And
I missed that. I mean, to be fair, I was quite tired at this point.
No, it's go to the last place on Earth you think God would find you, and if he finds you there, you know he's real. So this guy goes, China, I'll go there, the last place God would be, which is not great.
And then there were fundamentalist Christian... I nearly said Nazis, I meant ninjas.
Ninjas. Yes, fundamentalist Christian ninjas. I don't feel bad talking about the plot of this because it's nonsense.
Yeah.
Basically, the plan is we're gonna get everyone hooked on super cocaine so that when we then cut off the supply of super cocaine...
Everyone will turn to God.
Everyone will turn to God as a form of rehab, and the whole world will be Christians. Also, we are ninjas.
For some reason.
Also, we are white ninjas.
Yes.
Yeah. So this man becomes a velociraptor under the full moon and eats people. Not enough velociraptor in the film.
Not enough velociraptor.
I wanted more of that velociraptor suit.
But it did have that, like, low-budget B-movie horror film. Someone unexpected befriends a sex worker.
Yes.
And doesn't immediately make it weird.
Yeah.
They have quite a sweet relationship.
Yeah, some of the terminology used isn't like particularly great terminology, but like the relationship between the two of them is very sweet, and I like the setup of.
Sorry, I just remembered all the books about dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah. I like the setup of the pastor using confessional to find out who the bad people are, so he knows who to go eat as a velociraptor.
Yep.
I liked his attempts to justify to the other pastor, here's how the Bible justifies my eating people. Here's the thing, there were elements of this film that were good.
There were. It had some nice ideas. They didn't need to make it almost certainly xenophobic, possibly racist.
Its pacing is all over the fucking shop. I think that you could have made a shorter and much tighter film. I think that it would have benefited from having more of the goofy Velociraptor suit in shot.
Yeah, I think if they'd made it like Kung Fury length.
Yeah, that's I think 45 to 50 minutes as opposed to an hour and a half. I think this film could have been great.
Yes.
I think that there are wonderful elements to it with a lot of slow filler.
A lot of slow filler and punching in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't recommend this. Certainly wouldn't recommend paying for it.
I had a good time watching it with a group of friends, not because of the film itself, but because of being with friends over the internet watching it. To be clear, did not have
Screaming,
friends around.
What the fuck?
Yes, lots of the fuck.
What the fuck just happened?
What about you? What do you watch this week?
Do we want to do this in music or watched?
We can put it in watch because I think the visual component is a very.
I think the video is the most important thing here. We're talking about Lil Nas' new video.
Yes, Call Me By Your Name, I think it's called.
My Name, Your Name. Montero, Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah.
Must have 45 million views in 4 days.
Yeah.
It's a great video.
It's a great video. So if you don't know Lil Nas' music, you might know the track Old Town Road. It is probably the one everyone knows.
He a country singer.
Yeah, he a gay as heck country singer, and his new music video sure has kicked up a storm. People either fucking love it or hate it, and I love it. It's wonderful.
So unapologetically gay, and I love it.
Yeah. Like, the best way I can summarize it is Lil Nas is in the Garden of Eden or heaven and is tempted by homosexuality in the form of the biblical snake of temptation. He's like, hey, I'm gay, I will kiss a man. Oh no, I'm now being put on heaven trial.
And then somebody cast the first stone.
Yes, someone cast the first stone, he's cast out of heaven. So he goes...
pole dances down to hell.
Yeah, he's like, fuck it, if you're gonna cast me down to hell, I'm gonna pole dance my way down to hell, give Satan a lap dance, break his horns off, snap his neck, I'm Satan now, fuck you.
Yep. I mean, trans people dethroned God this year, so I think it's only reasonable that gay people take over from Satan.
Together we rule both. It's
Yeah.
good.
We'll make
Yeah.
a better world.
Honestly, like, it has real... As someone who very much grew up in Christianity and who very much left the church because of my LGBT status, it's got big vibes of, fine, if you tell me I'm going to hell, I'm going to embrace that, because fuck it.
I'm taking over.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you say that's where I belong, I'm gonna be top dog there. Because fuck it, I'm not gonna let the fact that you reckon I'm ending up there hold me down.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful video.
Yeah.
He's stylish man.
Yeah, 100%.
He's got some looks on him.
Yeah, it's like really well shot.
Yeah. Reading his Twitter, he's made it very clear. Oh, the music video, entirely his concept.
That's his concept. Like the whole thing of I put a SpongeBob frame in here.
Yeah,
it's Patrick on trial.
It's
like just the fact that like to have that head for that sort of cinematography.
yes,
I don't.
Yeah, it is a real good video to watch if you have ever been an LGBT person who's been pushed out of religion and gone, fuck it if you don't want me.
Yeah.
It's very good for that.
Mm-hmm. It is a good and powerful message, and yeah. Lil Nas's Twitter has been fascinating this week.
Oh, Lil Nas is a great Twitter follow if you don't worry. Very similar energy to following Sonic Fox in that sort of, hey, don't give a fuck about you kind of energy.
I'm gay. And yes, I've written some family-friendly songs before, but I am not here to teach your kids.
Well, even so, like, as he points out, Old Town Road, some of the lyrics in that, not super child-friendly.
But that's typical of people who aren't really paying attention.
Yeah, they're not paying attention until you literally have the singer fuck Satan.
They didn't fuck, that was just the laptop.
I know, but it's...
Those boxes stayed on.
I mean, you can do a lot through boxes.
I don't know, I've never worn them.
I mean, other people's.
Well,
that's a good music video, that.
it bloody is too. Have you watched anything else?
Have I watched anything else? I need to find out. I don't remember what I've done this week.
Shall I do one then?
Yeah.
We watched a video together on YouTube.
Oh, we did.
We watched The Quest, real-time render, a Blender movie.
Yeah, tell us about this.
On the Quest movie channel on YouTube. It's a fascinating bit of silent or like wordless storytelling about basically you start with a robot powering up, and they appear to be largely all alone in the world, and they sort of look around a room a bit, and then they go outside and they find another robot under a tarpaulin or something, and that robot appears to have lost their battery.
And it's just...
And then they just go on a little mission to try and find a source of power.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it, but at one point there is a very cute robot teddy bear thing.
Oh, very cute. Very cute. Yeah. Visually, I didn't think everything worked. There's a couple of, like, the lighting on the robot and the way the robot moved and the way the robot connected to the floor and environments didn't always feel quite on point. But what I think was very impressive visually was things like the water effects were stunningly done. I think a lot of the environmental work is incredibly done.
Yeah, the scenery itself.
Yeah, the static scenery, the fluid effects, a lot of that is superb.
Well, the cloth animation on that bit of tarp as well.
Anything that's flowing is wonderful. I
think the robot design itself is very good.
Yeah, I like the design of the robot. I just, there was something that didn't quite click about it. But everything else visually was very impressively done.
Yeah, I hope we get to see more of that, because it ends on a to be continued at quite a dramatic moment. It's like, I want to know what happened.
Give me more!
Yeah, I think that's like 8 months old now, so who knows how long that took to make.
I don't know. I've never made something like that.
I've never made something that complicated, but I can tell you it took me much longer to make anything in Blender. I'm not very good with three-dimensional space.
Three-dimensional space is complicated.
Three-dimensional space is complicated.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, that's everything I've watched this week.
I'll double-check my list. I think that's everything I've watched. Yeah, that's everything I watched. Yeah.
Well then, time for this.
Inside the boardroom of Electronic Actor Softworks.
Hi. Came in a bit, I was eager. I wanted to...
Yeah, eager. I mean, that's what we're all about, right?
yeah, go. You
Eager.
know.
Get the money.
Find
the money. Capture the money.
About getting the money. So, you know how we released that collection of classic games, back in, the autumn of last year?
Yeah.
Those classic platformers with the red hat guy.
Oh, is it nearly time?
Yeah, it's nearly time. So, it's nearly time to kill him off. He's gone, dead forever. No more buying the collection. So,
no more.
I'm thinking we need to get a real good squeeze on people to, panic buy this thing.
Yeah. What were you thinking?
Because look, if we're not gonna sell it after this, we got to make sure they fucking buy loads of them.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we put up billboards all around all the major cities that say, Red Hat Plumber Guy is dying. Here's your last chance to save him before it happens.
What if we just have like a picture of the bad guy, the crocodile guy or whatever, and he's got like a gun to Red Hat Plumber's head, and we're like, this is it. Once he's gone, he's gone. This is your chance to save.
Oh, I got it. I've got exactly what we do. We put up, he's falling off a cliff or in some spikes or something.
Yeah.
And we have the life counter up in the top left of the billboard, and it's got 0. It's like, that we go with your tagline from the previous one. When he's gone, it's over. He's gonna be gone for good in a second, because he's got no lives left,
No more lives, no continues. This is your last chance.
Exactly. But I will say, I am a little disappointed that after, this is great because we get to just get people to panic buy this thing.
Yeah.
But I don't like not being able to sell them this after that date.
I assume we're just going to repackage it with like some extra graphics or maybe some phone wallpapers or Windows backdrops. We'll just repackage it next year or something.
Oh, now see, I had another plan.
Right.
We sell each one individually because it's not the package. It's different. It's a different thing.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing we said we were ending.
Exactly. But we charge the full price that collection would have been for each of the individual ones.
Of course.
Exactly, because you weren't a good enough loyal consumer to get it when it was a collection package. Pay through the nose now.
Plus, the real collectors, they're going to buy that again.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you what, 6 months down the line, we put out another edition of each of these, and we include that online-only one, the one with, like, all the... Basically, everyone plays the game together. It's
yeah,
like
that one
thing.
that we also were killing off this week.
Yeah, we kill that, but in 6 months' time, we bring it back, bundled with one of these games.
Oh, I see.
So it's like, you buy the whole thing, you're now getting the collector's edition of the one we're about to release, where it's all of the individual games. But now it's like, but what if Red Hat Plumber Guy Galaxy 2
oh, shit.
bundles with the Royale?
You were a fucking genius.
I know. Lola, got a new sponsor!
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you like flannel?
I do like flannel.
Dr. Martens.
I do like Dr. Martens or a vegan alternative that's, not made out of leather.
I mean, some Dr. Martens are vegan.
Oh, a good stumpy boot. I like a good stumpy boot.
A good 12-hole shit kicker.
Yeah, real like steel toe-capped thing. Oh.
Kick those fash. Kick 'em.
Oh.
Do you like, just like clippers that only work on one side of your head?
That conveniently only work on one side of my head. Yes, I do.
Especially designed specifically for that.
Funny you mentioned that. They only seem to get one side of my head.
It's perfect though, because you never get that weird wobbly thing when you've tried to do it yourself.
Exactly. I get to the line and it's just like, nope, doesn't go any further. It just shaves that side off.
Yeah, it's brilliant how you can do just that.
Yeah.
Would you like all of these things at a discount?
I would.
Come on down to Lesbian Giveaway Warehouse.
Yes, please.
Yeah, they've got everything you need. They've got pastel flannel, they've got red flannel, they've got overalls, or dungarees as we call them in this country. They got Doc Martens with the vegan Dr. Martens.
Do they have, like, good, like, women's biker jackets?
Naturally.
Like black denim jackets with patches on?
You can get a battle jacket. They have, like, a whole section. Imagine a Hobby Lobby, but not homophobic, just full of patches. Like, you can just go in there, and there's, like, a section at the back where someone who is good at sewing will sew them on for you.
I'm going to walk out of this place looking like the concept of lesbianism exploded on me.
Yeah, I mean, you should ultimately walk out of a place like this looking like the platonic form of lesbian.
Well, I am certainly not going to say no to walking out head to toe in plaid and steel-capped boots. I want everyone within a quarter mile to know of my liking of ladies.
Well, in which case, come on down to Lesbian Giveaway Warehouse and enter the code QNPS161 and you can get 10% off your first order of patches. They're also doing 3 for a $5 at the moment, and you can still use the discount code on that. You can also get discounts on battle jackets, on various types of jeans, high-waisted, relaxed fit, comfy jeans. Very 80s mom jeans. Overalls like you wouldn't believe, and not just the slim fit ones, but plus size as well. Actually comfortable, fitting clothes that fit you and are comfortable and nice and gay.
I hope you will still like me when I walk out of there looking very, very gay.
I think my wife might be gay.
Shock and horror.
So, what have you put in your ears?
We both put in our ears the finale to the Magnus archives. I have listened to that more than once.
I have listened to that twice.
Without spoilers, I think broad strokes, I like the ending.
I think it is the only ending that they could have had.
I mean, I think there were a couple of viable endings, and this certainly was one of them. I feel like this last episode could have benefited from being longer. They tried to fit a lot of twists and turns into a very short period of time, and it felt like it ended very abruptly.
I slightly disagree with that. I think that... I know what you mean, because we've discussed this. I think that, that the amount of... talking around this, for the decisions that were made, I think they were made within a not unreasonable amount of time. I think we got a good amount of... I think they could have had potentially a better ending if it had been longer, but we have to remember, first of all, it's in the cosmic horror genre.
Yeah.
So it was never going to end...
Yay! I'm not asking for any of what happened to change. I purely think that characters changed what they were going to do several times, and I think that the episode did not give enough breathing room between those changes of direction. I don't think it did enough to justify in the text, without having to read between the lines, what would drive someone to make such drastic changes in what they're planning. And I personally feel like it was twists and turns for the sake of twists and turns a little bit.
I can see why you think that, but I do disagree with those points.
Yeah, it's a divisive ending.
Yeah.
And again, it's not to say that it's not a bad ending.
No.
I have seen far worse endings on long-running things. It's in no way going to negatively impact how I feel about this as an overall piece of work, but
I would like even more now, because I think we talked a couple of weeks ago about listening to the whole series again.
Yes.
I think more now I want to listen to the whole series. Knowing where it ends, knowing where everything leads to. What was it again?
But yeah, this is one where we disagree on how we feel about the ending, and I mean,
ultimately, we're both reasonably positive about it.
I understand why you feel more positive than I do.
Yes.
But, I
can understand why you feel the way you do as well.
I feel... that's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's very much the way... That's why I listened to it, I was like, I have to listen to this again. And the thing that made me happiest was there was a moment of, a thing I've been thinking was justified. And then, like, to go on to go, and that didn't matter a fucking bit. None of what I had predicted mattered.
I listened to it a second time, and I, if anything, felt more the way I do now, like, more strongly of, I'm not sure about how they did this.
I can understand why.
Yeah.
I'm not a good enough writer to say I know how it could have been better. I don't know that length could have made it better. I think it would have needed kind of different setup, like with a couple of episodes.
I don't even necessarily think that. I think a longer episode would have allowed for more examination of some of those things, and for some of the things to not feel as out of nowhere, because a lot of them it felt like, okay, we've got like 6 bullet points we want to hit in 20 minutes. It felt like that most of the episodes of the Magnus Archives that I've really liked have had a slow build.
Yes.
Have had a very deliberate pace. They've never have rarely felt rushed. They usually feel like they have one idea they're trying to convey, and they're getting it done.
Yes.
This was very not in keeping with the tone and the pacing of the rest of the show, in that it was 4 or 5 different things, each given a chunk of the episode to get through.
Yeah.
And I feel like with a longer episode, you could have had each of those moments have the gravitas and the breathing room that they would usually have if not wedged into this episode.
Yeah, I can 100% agree with that. I think the point was not to give any of it breathing room. And that maybe that's reading something into it that isn't there. I feel like the point was to go, oh shit this, but oh shit this, but oh shit this. The end.
Yeah, I get you. But when you have followed characters for 200 episodes, having, oh shit this, oh shit that, oh shit that, with major character motivations, I feel like major character motivations in your payoff episode after 200, I feel like you need to have proper understanding of the why of character motivations, because this is your last chance to understand those characters, and to rush that in a finale it feels like a weird time to do it. Again, absolutely love the series. Want to be clear, it's a wonderful series. All of our recommendations we've made throughout Queer and Pleasant Strangers about this show, 100% stand.
I plan to listen to it again.
Go listen to the Magnus Archives. Wonderful, fantastic podcast.
I'm still a Patreon of Rusty Quill.
Indeed, it is a wonderful, fantastic show. Even if I feel a bit about the final episode, but no major complaints.
No major complaints.
It didn't ruin the world or the lore or the characters or anything.
Not at all.
It wasn't a lost ending. What about you? What have you listened to this week?
Well, the sun was out, so I put on a mix I've had for years, and I listen to it every time the sun's out.
Yeah.
For like more than a minute. It is a mix called Pure Uplifting Extreme Hardcore by DJ React, aka Bobby B. I originally got it off tunes.net. If anyone remembers tunes.net, giving you some idea how long I've had this mix. I really like it. It's got like a hardcore version of Now You're Gone and You're My Angel. It's good, uplifting, bouncy, sunshine, I want to go for a frolic type hardcore. Like, it's a bit warm to be bouncing to it, but heck it, it's the good stuff. I love it. I listen to it like pretty much every year, or sometimes more than once.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you listened to anything else?
I listened to some new music this week.
Some new music?
Yeah. I listened to a track called Clear Enough by an artist called Oakman. Sort of femme rock track, feels very similar to like a Paramore, a band like that, particularly in terms of the direction of the vocalist. Just a good little rock track about knowing, sometimes knowing you gotta get away and start over.
Good gravy.
Oh no, all of the emergencies are happening.
They're coming to get us. All that we want is an ambulance.
We don't need an ambulance, we're okay.
We don't.
I also listened to a track called Don't Go to My House by 1st of October. I think you'll find this relatable when I get to what it's about in a second. Masculine, sort of fast, raw, frantic rock track about, setting boundaries. Very relatable track, if quite short. Basically just about not wanting people to show up at your house unannounced without giving advanced warning, even if you love them as people. You have this, the whole, like, I love you, but don't show up at my door unexpected.
It's like ringing me. Don't ring me unless you've text first to confirm it's okay.
Yes, it is just a fast-paced, frantic punk track about, like, hey, don't just show up at my door. Let me know you're coming and ask if it's okay, and then I'll say it's okay, and then you can come round. Don't just show up. I will be very frazzled if you do this.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a tweet I saw earlier this week that said, don't mistake my free time for spare time.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for me, it's a case of, I have to do a lot of mental prep work before I socialise, because autism brain.
I have to do mental prep work. I have to feel comfortable about how the house looks.
Yes, exactly.
Even if I know my friends don't care, and I know my friends don't care.
Yeah, I care if they see it.
It's
sometimes.
not even that. It's I will sit there the whole time, fretting about it.
What if they're judging me secretly and not telling me?
No, not even that.
That's me.
It's about me wanting to have some control over, my environment.
Yeah.
And I find when somebody else is in the house, I become hyper aware of all sorts of things.
Yes, I am the same. We get there for different reasons, but I am the same in the, I want to do the special someone's going to be here clean. That is or just the tidy. I want to prepare the house before someone arrives. So that I know I've set it up.
Other people being in the house is a great excuse for that.
Yes, exactly.
The house is rarely so clean as summer when we have lots of people coming over.
Exactly. And then even so, it's I need prep time not just to brace for social interaction, even with people that I absolutely love, but also I live my life by plans and routine, and I don't like changing routine. And if someone shows up at my house unannounced, even if I have nothing planned, this is you've changed the plan from do nothing to do something, and that's a sudden, unexpected change of plan.
100%.
Yeah. So this is a good punk track about that. Yeah. About hey, don't show up unannounced. It's okay for you to come round. You just say, and I'll agree, and then you come round. Mm-hmm. Do it that way.
Do.
There's also a really good track I found called Tongue and Stutter by I the Victor. Really, really interesting track. It is one that very much benefits from a good pair of headphones on. It's got this very ethereal, floaty melody that uses glitching and stuttering effects in that melody as the percussion.
Okay.
So the percussion is essentially stutters and glitches in a very floaty, no stops, a melody that is just constantly sort of gently going, but it's glitching to get its percussion line. That's paired with a very fast, precise, fragmented rap on top of that.
Okay.
Very short vocal fragments where the singer will clearly break words up into smaller components and change the intonation between fragments of the sentence in order to sort of match that glitching effect in the way they're singing. It is a really, technically impressive track that I would highly recommend if you want to hear just very clever use of music. So yeah, that's called Tongue and Stutter by I the Victor. What about you? What have you listened to this week?
I listened to Robin S. Show Me Love on repeat for about 3 hours.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been doing a musical analysis because, somebody's been saying, okay, I keep not finishing tracks recently, and part of the reason is, I'm not sure, how do I layer this thing? How do I introduce this thing? How do I do the drop I want to do? Because so far I've been making a lot of music that is, it can have some progression and some movement to it, but it doesn't have, most of it doesn't have a simple A-B-A-B, version structure.
Yeah.
It's sort of a bit more flowy and floaty. Like, the closest I got to that was the disco track I did recently, Dum Diddy.
Yes.
And it's like, I want to do more stuff like that, but in, like, house genres and drum and bass genres. So I was like, I'm going to go back to old school house,
Yeah.
when it was all a bit more minimal, and I'm going to, like, try and just, like, analyse some things, and hopefully I can go through the whole house genre and make tracks in loads of different things.
Yeah.
Because at the moment we're in March, and I was hoping that I would get like 10 completed tracks by the end of the year. Has been sort of my goal. And we're in March now. I've kind of got one so far.
I mean, look, doing the work to learn how to do new genres is as important as making things that you know how to make.
I know. I know I'm putting stress on myself in ridiculous ways. It's like, if I study more, I'll be better at it. But
You will.
I want to do the thing now. I want to be good at the thing now.
I understand want to be good at the thing now. There are many things I have tried to learn over the years and then stopped trying to learn because I want to be good at the thing now.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to delayed gratification, be good at it later. Not good at that.
No, because like part of me's like, yeah, but you could just like quickly dash off a track in a genre that you are okay at. Yeah, but I want to do this genre, and this genre is.
But I want to be
eluding
good at
me.
the thing
I
now.
want to be good at that thing now, rather than the thing I'm already good at.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to be able to have the brain to do things I'm not good at until I'm good at them.
Mm-hmm. But I'm still trying. That's the important thing.
Yeah, go.
Like I'm still getting the keyboard out. I'm still sitting there, and I'm still putting the work in. Like, even though I'm not necessarily getting the tracks out right now.
Yeah, you're doing the legwork.
Yeah. What about you? Have you got anything else?
That's everything I've listened to this
Well
week.
then.
Time for this.
Oh god, the world is so depressing.
Oh
Everything is like, cute duck rescue team.
Oh my god!
What? Oh, look at them! They're so adorable. Oh, that one's pushing a little ball around.
Oh, look at the little beaks!
The little beakies.
Oh, nom, 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 nom.
Would you like some snackies? Oh, oh, they're tying my boss to a chair. Oh, that's adorable. Oh, wait. Oh, what's this? Wait. Oh, union papers. Cool, like we can join a union.
Oh.
Cool. Oh, a pen, thank you. Do I need to give this to anyone? Oh, you'll take it, thank you. What's this for me now? Oh, the means of production.
I feel so much better.
Thank you, cute duck rescue team. This was amazing. It's so cute. Is this you out for dinner with a friend that you've known for a long time? You've been going for dinner a lot. Your eyes meet across the table. But is it just nice? Or is she flirting? Introducing Nice or Flirting, the premier app for sapphic folk. Too clueless to tell if she likes you or not.
Okay, app, we had a candlelit dinner for two. She got down on one knee and gave me a ring. We're moving in together. Does she like me? Or does she like me?
Bing.
Oh, that's pretty gay, apparently. Okay, she's been flirting with me for 8 months, according to the app. Cool.
That's good to know.
We've been dating for 4 months. Okay.
Oh, let's see. We're currently in bed together and we're having a cuddle and she keeps sort of wiggling her tushions at me. Let's try this on the app. Oh. Okay, yep, this is a thing. Yep. We've been together for 3 years. I just thought that living together and adopting a cat together was just like a nice friends thing that we were doing together. Because she's always very complimentary of me and like she's very lovely and I love her very dearly. But I guess I hadn't really thought about it.
I mean, I thought about it, but I assumed she hadn't thought about it.
I assumed she hadn't thought about it. Thanks, the app. Oh. Okay, she's knuckles deep in me at the moment. Do you know what I want to see more of? What
do you want to see more of?
Brochure Justice Warriors.
Racial Justice Warriors?
Yeah.
All right, Larry.
All right, Barry. How you doing?
I'm, not too bad, not too bad. You been up to much?
You know, watching everyone get vaccinated from a distance and,
Yeah.
not quite being at that point in the queue myself yet.
Waiting my turn, but, very positive about the whole thing generally.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I'm not so positive about with the vaccines, though, is the whole fact that most of them are patented and proprietary technology and...
Yeah, especially considering that I think at least one of these that I'm aware of very much went in with it's going to be like a public thing and we'll all own it.
Yes, and then the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation came in and it gave them a lot of money and then encouraged them to patent it, which is not good.
No, and for all the times that Bill and Melinda Gates have been, and their foundation have been like, it's philanthropy and we're doing good for the world, you've clearly done an evil here.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, look, I recognise that there is a certain amount of, in medical fields, a small amount of above cost sale required to put money into creating more things. But, often medication is completely scalped for profit beyond that point, which is ridiculous. And in this case, governments around the world for the COVID vaccine put huge amounts of money behind, the development of these vaccines with no expectation it be paid back. Those vaccines should be fair game for anyone.
Yeah.
If they are funded by global taxpayer funds, largely, they should be available to anyone so that anyone in any country can produce the vaccine and start vaccinating people. Because right now, there are like 3 or 4 companies making COVID vaccines, and you pay what they're asking because we need to get COVID under wraps. And if you are a country that cannot afford to pay above what other countries are willing to pay for it, then you aren't vaccinating people right now.
Yeah, we've already seen that Britain have been told that they might not be able to import any vaccines for a while because their numbers are like way higher than huge chunks of the world. It's morally repugnant to go around patenting these things, not least because it's just a service to the world, to the health of people across the globe.
A radical idea here. Saving people's lives and the medical industry should not be a for-profit business.
There shouldn't be a medical industry.
Exactly. Saving people should be done, for the public good, funded by taxpayers, free to access at the point of entry, and should not be an issue where one country has the right to save people and other countries are like, well, I can't afford to pay it, so I guess we just don't get to save people.
Exactly. First luck, mate.
First luck.
Yeah. Good luck, mate. Good luck.
Good luck. I will say, if someone were to, for example, steal the recipe for a vaccine and put it available online, I wouldn't be upset at them.
No, I would make them completely
Hypothetically.
right if they hypothetically did such a thing.
Yeah.
I would say that they were doing good work and should be applauded for that.
Ready for an early night?
Yeah, I think so, mate. Yeah.
So, Laura, where can we find you on the internet?
Laura K. Buzz pretty much everywhere. Laura K. Buzz on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. I post stuff on TikTok, so you can check that out. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 10pm UK, 5pm Eastern, 2pm Pacific. I post episodes of Accessibility over on YouTube every Friday. That's about accessibility and representation in the games industry. This week's episode will probably be one about pausing and the importance of being able to pause in games. You can also find my books. Uncomfortable Labels, that's about being an autistic trans woman, that's out now. Things I Learned from Mario's Butt, that's about video game character butts, and it's got pictures in it, and it's a coffee table book, and that's out now. And then Gender Euphoria is an anthology of non-cis people's positive gender-affirming stories. It comes out on June 10th, 2021, which is like 2 months away? Because we're about to be in April, Major. Yeah, just over 2 months. Gosh, that's really soon.
Mm-hmm.
Books are going to show up here really soon. They're being printed. It's happening.
We're going to have that thing again. I'll
Okay.
try not to put my back out this time.
Yeah, don't put your back out this time. I will carry the books if needed.
Oh, I'll help. But
Ah.
hopefully I won't carry as many books this time.
They should be lighter and smaller this time, which will help. They're not hardbacks. And then I have children's book that will happen probably toward the end of the year. Maybe I'm still working on that.
Heckins.
Also podcasts. Podquisition. We tell you whether your favourite video games are great or perfect. Pixel Squirt. It's about video game character pornography. And Dice Funk is a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Each season's its own self-contained story, so you can jump into any season. I'm on seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now season 8. I'm also on another podcast with you that is not this one.
That'll be Polyamory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one where we have it's a D&D 5th edition real play podcast with questionable morals. We've just had a new episode of that up. We got to see some lovely familiar faces and their wonderful lovely cottage. And now we're going to a strange place full of tabaxi and singing. I also, I mentioned earlier I make music under the name Bedroom Programmer. You can find that on my SoundCloud. We have a Stoned Monkey Radio SoundCloud where you can listen to things like this and Polyamory and the program. We've got a Facebook group. I've got a Redbubble where I sell my t-shirts. StoneMonkeyRadio.blog where I write about all kinds of games, board and videoed. I've got a YouTube channel. I'm on Twitter. I have a Twitch. I stream on Thursday nights at 19:30 UK time. And I have a Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You can help me justify a 76-hour work week, please. Thank you. And if you want early access to things like Grown Pleasant Strangers and Polyamory, you can get those sometimes 3 or 4 days early for as little as $10 a month. I think that's everything. So, Laura... Oh, wait, I forgot to say, streamerlinks.com/Janiac, that's JANEIAC. And my Patreon is Stoned Monkey Radio. That's it. Yeah. Laura, where can we find you on the internet, darling?
No, this is the bit where you tell
Now
us
it's
to
the
sing us
time.
out.
Sing us out, darling.
Until next time, be a stranger.
I got the things right. I know what's going on.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bit where it just cut off the laughter. High five for a very good punchline.
Thank you. I was like, don't write that in the thing.
Don't write
And
it in.
how deep do I go? Knuckles or elbow?
I think Knuckles is,
She's wrist deep in me now.
she's shoulder deep in me.
Oh, Jesus. She's wearing me like a glove puppet. Fisting humor.